Hey, Trailblazer here with a follow-up to my previous tactics video on advancing in formation in BattleTech. In this video I'm going to show you how do you feint in advance, how do you trick your opponent into thinking that you're advancing to one spot and then do a different one. So a reaction that you might have had to the previous video was, hey, doesn't this telegraph to your opponent exactly what you are planning to do? The answer is yes, it definitely does. And so you don't want to use the advance in formation tactic in a situation where it bothers you to have your opponent know where you're going. There's one exception to that though, which is a situation where there might be a couple of different places that your opponent might think you would want to go to. In that kind of a situation, you can use a formation advance to send your opponent a fake message about where you're headed and then turn in the other direction. So suppose in this situation I want to get my lance into those woods kind of near the southeast of the map, but what I notice is that there's also a stand of woods to the northeast that looks pretty good, and maybe I think, oh, my opponent might believe that I was heading in that direction instead. This would be a nice situation to conduct a feint because, as you can see, I can get part of the way to the southeast woods while I look like I'm moving to the northeast woods. So what I do in this situation is I measure out a set of hexes that's like the speed of my slow units. So my two heavy mechs, my Black Knight and my Avatar, they both run 6. So I see, oh, what's a stretch of 6 movement points that those mechs can go that would be making progress in the direction of the place where I secretly want to go, but also making progress in the direction of the place where I want to feint that I'm trying to go. So then I line up like before in columns, one for the slower units and one for the faster units. Now if your opponent isn't in the know and they haven't seen you do an advance in formation before like this, you can even trick them a little bit extra by sending the fast units really far in the direction of, do a full movement of theirs in the direction of the objective that you're not actually heading towards. Because with the speed of something like that Wraith and that Cicada, they can actually get almost all the way to the northeast woods and then turn around and get to the southeast woods in one turn. You want to make sure, of course, to wait to turn your slower units, or any of your units, until the turn after you make that initial move. Just go the full distance with your first turn move, and then in your second turn, begin the turn by turning towards your real destination and conducting a full move in that direction. And as I was saying before, as you see here, the fast mechs can just turn on a dime and even get down to those woods faster than the heavies can, even though they've made a lot more progress in the fake direction. The only caveat here is that you don't want your opponents to smell a rat, so if you think that they're going to suspect that you're faking them out if you go do an all-out move with the fast units in the first turn, in that case you can just leave them back the way that you would if you were making a regular advance towards that fake objective, in this case the northeast woods. And then you see at the end that with another turn of movement, we're able to form up at the destination location and be ready to fight, concentrated with each other, which is always the goal of an ordered advance in BattleTech.